1.3 with Kim and Dave. It's 21 to 9. And we did go to war earlier this morning. And look, I did write something pretty cruel on the My Kitchen Rules.
Was early.
It was early. But the people, the fans of the TV show My Kitchen Rules, are absolutely ripping into Mel and saying really horrible things. You know, that she's something that rhymes with witch or something that rhymes with hole. They'd love to get hold of her and punch her in the ovaries. And, like, come on, that's not necessary. So Dave and I,
of course, this is Mel from Mel and James, who are representing Tassie in my restaurant rules. Interestingly enough, and you can hear the whole chat we had with them on Facebook. That they were the third couple to cook, and yet they were on the fifth night.
I know. Well, we had a well-crafted post that we put on the My Kitchen Rules Facebook that explains, you know, the art of editing, and we think she's a victim of that. And look, I did then go back and say, by the way, the old girl from Western Australia looks like Shrek.
It was.
Yes,
it was 5 o'clock.
It's cruel. It was 5 o'clock, and it was cruel.
And I like the way you brought me into it, Kim. Kim said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Oh, well, you said it." And she said, "But why didn't you stop me? You normally stop me from doing that." That's my role, is it?
Oh, look, it was cruel, and I meant nothing by it other than just sticking up for Mel, I guess. But, you know, we have lots of opportunities here where we talk to people, and sometimes you need to edit it because they might go on for hours and hours, and, you know, you get 17 minutes of an interview that you need to put into 4 minutes. We hope that we don't ever portray somebody like Mel's been portrayed. So we thought we'd do this experiment and get Dave to explain what last night's meal was like, because, you know, obviously he didn't eat it, but he's got an opinion on it. And then we edited it. So this is the edited version of Dave's opinion on last night's meal.
I just want to say I just said exactly what my impressions were from the meal. I didn't try and make it one thing or another.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, the entree looked okay. I mean, it was pretty normal. It was something that you'd find in the 70s. And some of them looked as if they were a little bit undercooked, the mushrooms and the cheese. Then you went on to the tuna. Now, of course, the problem with the tuna was some of the tuna was cooked well and some wasn't. It's the sort of thing, if you got it in a restaurant, you wouldn't accept it. And then ending up with a dessert, which was an ordinary sort of dessert. It was a coconut ice cream in those little chocolate basket things that they made. The chocolate was a bit bitter. It was okay, but it wasn't fantastic.
Okay, so that's the edited version. This is actually what Dave said.
Well, the entree looked okay. I mean, it was pretty normal. It was something that you'd find in the 70s. And some of them looked as if they were a little bit undercooked, the mushrooms and the cheese. But having said that, the people seemed to absolutely love them. They were very tasty, and even the judges said that they thought they were surprised by just how tasty they were and how enjoyable they were. Then you went on to the tuna. Now, of course, the problem with the tuna was some of the tuna was cooked well and some wasn't. If you'd got a piece of tuna that wasn't cooked, that was overcooked, you would have thought, oh, this is absolutely rubbish. And, you know, it's the sort of thing, if you got it in a restaurant, you wouldn't accept it. However, if you got a good piece of tuna, beautifully cooked, raw, succulent South Australian tuna, you would have thought, oh, this is a beautiful meal. And that's exactly what happens. It divided the table. And then ending up with a dessert, which was an ordinary sort of dessert. It was a coconut ice cream in those little chocolate basket things that they made. I love chocolate, so I probably would have loved it. Of course, if you weren't a big chocolate fan, some of the people said the chocolate was a bit bitter. So it could have been possible that you would have ended up with a dish that you didn't particularly like. I love desserts, so I probably would have absolutely loved it. But by the look of it, it was okay, but it wasn't fantastic.
There you go. So obviously that second unedited version just goes on and on and on. So you want to get the flavour of what he said. Oh, well, it does.
You asked me.
So
you asked me.
Yeah. I know. But you can't play everything. You have to. You've only got a certain amount of time to do stuff in. So we edited it, and we made you. If we did that repeatedly each week, it would become very
evil
clear
Dave.
that you whinge about every dish that you served.
Yeah, exactly. That's what can happen, and that's what's happened to these guys. Let's hope tonight on My Kitchen Rules that they do a fantastic job. And, of course, you look at the promos, and I am worried because it makes it look like they set up for failure.
I know. And what if this is going to be the interesting reaction, what if they do really well, you know, not necessarily leap to the top of the leaderboard, but get themselves way up there? Do you think the tide will change?
Oh, that, and if they set them up to be evil, evil Mel and evil James, then can they actually win it then? Because they might be too unpopular to win it.
Can I just put a prediction forward?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make out that she's the boss in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah,
that James
absolutely.
is the lackey. They will. It's 8:45, Heart 107.3 with Kim and Dave.